This is the WWE Smackdown January 24, 2025 full show results video which takes place at Moody Center in Austin, Texas. Joe Tessitore is in the ring to interview American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, who makes his entrance. He says Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels is the perfect moderator for the contract signing tomorrow night, winner of 2 Royal Rumbles, ladder match expert, and cultivator of the future of WWE through NXT, and he has no problem handing his title belt over to him. He puts Kevin Owens over as a genius in the ring, a genius IQ, a once-in-a-generation superstar, but what hurts is that 10 times out of 10 he'll choose the easy way out. But that's why a ladder match is apt: no disqualifications, no pinfalls, no interference, just who has the grit to climb a ladder and retrieve the title. If he could look Kevin Owens in the eye right now, he'd say yeah, maybe he smiles and shakes hands and appears to be a good guy because that's who he's trying to be. Don't forget that he beat Gunther, he beat Roman Reigns, he's the grandson of a plumber, but he's also a study of Randy Orton. Before anybody loved the American Nightmare, he was as mean as it gets and he'll punch Owens in his car. Simply put, good luck. Pretty Deadly chat with DIY backstage and Johnny Gargano apologizes for not being able to be ringside for their match, and Pretty Deadly say they feel like they're not getting their end of the quid pro quo. Tommaso Ciampa tells them to handle their business, and John tells them to do whatever it takes. Yes boy. They immediately run into Legado del Fantasma after DIY walk off, and Santos Escobar just smiles at them. Then we saw a match between Motor City Machine Guns versus Pretty Deadly, and the result of this match was Motor City Machine Guns defeated Pretty Deadly by pinfall with Skull and Bones on Kit Wilson. Nick Aldis meets with The Miz in his office and Miz puts over Joe Tessitore but says his interviews are no Miz TV and asks if that's why Nick brought him here. Aldis says he's here because he's on SmackDown now and welcomes him to Team Blue as Miz gets increasingly distressed realizing he's on the same brand as the Wyatt Six again, and Aldis tells him to make some new friends, fast. Kevin Owens comes to ringside and yells at Joe Tessitore, asking him where his interview is and saying he almost misses Michael Cole. He cuts a promo about how he's gonna win at the Royal Rumble and confronts Matthew McConaughey, taunting him with a sports reference. Big Jim Uso makes his entrance and Owens asks him what he wants, and Uso says it's because he talks too damn much and clocks him with the microphone before brawling with him and laying him out with a super kick. Big Jim goes up top but Kevin runs away and Jim says things get weird in Austin, so let's get weird tonight, and challenges Owens to a match tonight. Carmelo Hayes meets with Nick Aldis and complains that he's lost his match against Jim Uso. Nick says he'll make it up to him next week but he has the perfect transfer window opponent for him tonight. Hayes says he wants to see the guy first and Nick says if he just sticks around he'll get to meet him. Melo is into it because he's gonna show dude how it goes around here. The next match happened between B-Fab and Mia Yim versus Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, and the result of this match was B-Fab and Mia Yim won the match by pinfall with soul food from Yim on Chelsea Green. We go back to Nick Aldis' office as Damien Priest arrives to be the newest member of the SmackDown roster. Carmelo Hayes is shocked and upset and begs off, and Priest says he's here to work and ready to punish, and Melo scoffs and walks off. Back from the commercial we get a return vignette for Charlotte Flair and she announced she is returning to Royal Rumble. Tiffany Stratton makes her entrance and says she's not worried about the Royal Rumble in the slightest because whoever wins will be running on Tiffy time. Rhea Ripley interrupts her and she says she knows Tiffany is still a little bit new here but she's a women's champion too, so champion to champion. She kinda wants to say she respects what she did to Nia Jax, but it's not gonna compare to what she's going to do to her tomorrow night. Then comes Nia Jax with Candice LeRae and she declares for the Royal Rumble and says she's gonna win and take her title back. Then comes Bianca Belair and Naomi says the ring's filling up real quick, but that's why they came here to say that she's entering and winning the Royal Rumble. Bianca says she likes that except for one thing, she is entering and she is gonna win, and they agree that one of them is gonna win and that's all that matters. Then comes Liv Morgan, flanked by Raquel Rodriguez, and Morgan runs them all down, saying Rhea lost her man to a real woman, Tiffany is a wannabe Liv Morgan doppelganger, and the rest are all declaring for the Royal Rumble, but she doesn't care because she's entering the Royal Rumble and, of course, she is going to win. She gets in the ring, Rhea drops her with a headbutt and a brawl breaks out, and Nick Aldis booked a 6-women tag team match. Then we saw a match between Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Rhea Ripley versus Candice LeRae, Liv Morgan, and Nia Jax, and the result of this match was Candice LeRae, Liv Morgan, and Nia Jax won the match by pinfall with a crucifix pin from LeRae on Bianca Belair. Chelsea Green is having a meltdown backstage when B-Fab and Mia Yim roll up. Yim says she has backup now and she's feeling real good about winning the WWE Women's United States Championship, and in fact, she went to Nick Aldis and got a title match, and Piper tells Chelsea she's gonna need a bigger security detail. The next match happened between Apollo Crews versus Johnny Gargano, and the result of this match was Apollo Crews defeated Johnny Gargano by pinfall with a schoolboy pin. Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga are walking backstage and Fatu cuts a promo saying he's Godzilla and King Kong put together, off the scale, all gas, no brakes, but first his boy Tama Tonga's gonna get it. LA Knight cuts a promo on the apron after making his entrance and says the megastar is in the building, and that means these two cross-eyed half-wits got hell to pay and they're not gonna cost him the United States Championship without paying for it. And Tama Tonga's not just getting a piece, he's getting a whole big chunk. The next match happened between LA Knight versus Tama Tonga, and the result of this match was LA Knight defeated Tama Tonga by pinfall with BFT. Post-match, Fatu picks Knight up and Samoan drops him over the announce desk. Braun Strowman comes on down and squares up with Fatu in the ring as Holy Shit chants get censored by USA. Tama runs interference, Jacob charges in but Braun sidesteps and throws him to the floor. Backstage, Miz is making friends with A-Town Down Under and says they're gonna make Marine 7 and they're gonna run SmackDown when Nick Aldis rolls up to tell them that they're going to Raw, and they celebrate and leave Miz alone and afraid. The next match happened between Carmelo Hayes versus Damien Priest, and the result of this match was Damien Priest defeated Carmelo Hayes by pinfall with South of Heaven. Motor City Machine Guns are backstage with Nick Aldis and DIY, and they inform the champions that Nick Aldis has booked them a 2 out of 3 Falls tag title match at the Royal Rumble, and DIY storm off, fuming and afraid. Back from the commercial, Damien Priest runs into Cody Rhodes backstage. Rhodes says he's glad to have him and shakes his hand, and Priest says he'll see him soon. Backstage, Miz is trying to make friends with Andrade El Idolo and tells him he's almost there, he just needs somebody to help him be the superstar he can be. El Idolo is into it and walks off. Big Jim Uso walks up and gestures at Miz before walking on. Carmelo Hayes talks some trash ahead of their match next week, and Uso makes his entrance and Hayes jumps him, brawling on the ramp, then referees and road agents swarm to pull Carmelo away. In the main event of the show, we saw a match between Big Jim Uso versus Kevin Owens, and the result of this match was Kevin Owens defeated Jim Uso by pinfall with a pop-up powerbomb. Post-match, Kevin Owens tried to give a piledriver to Jim on the announcing desk, but Cody Rhodes rushes the ring and beats Owens down, and Kevin tries to stabilize but Cody stays on him and stomps the proverbial mudhole. Kevin Owens with some punches, but Rhodes throws him out of the ring and they keep brawling, and we are running of time, and the show goes off the air. What did you think about this week's WWE Smackdown? On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the show? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, I'd love to hear from you. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for all the latest updates, news, and highlights from the world of wrestling. Thank you for watching the video, and stay tuned for more updates and news.